in the interest of time, but let me talk about Careem. So Careem is the everything app of the region. Chapter 1, we got founded in 2012 by Mudassir, Shaikh, and Magnus Carlson, with the mission to simplify and improve the lives of people. And we launched as a ride-hail service. 2016, we became the first unicorn startup from a valuation point of view when we raised funding. 2019, we started to go beyond ride-hail, and we launched Careem now, which is Careem Food. 2019, we exited with a $3 billion exit to Uber. That was the first tech billion-dollar exit in the region. And in 2020, we started the everything app transformation, or what we used to call it, the super app transformation. Chapter 3 recently started last year. We kept the ride business at Uber, and we went back into a private mode, into a private startup, what we call Careem Technology, focusing not on ride-hail, everything else except ride-hail, with the same mission to simplify and improve the lives of people. EAND is a major investor, which is Etisalat, that owns several telcos in Pakistan. Telenor, I think, is one, and then PTCL. And in Dubai, you might only know about Careem as a ride-hail app in Pakistan, but in Dubai, it's an everything app. In Dubai, there are more than 20 services around the customer, around the daily life of the customer, and we're expanding in Abu Dhabi, we're expanding in Riyadh, we're expanding in Amman, and hopefully soon, not next year, but hopefully the year after or so, we'll come to Pakistan. Welcome, Babar. So this is how we started. Again, we started as a one service, one ride-hailing service, and this is where we are over the past 5 years. We added all these services, and there's 20 plus, and that list is expanding. So when we started with this view. So in everything app, we have our rides, we have food, we could do delivery, but that's kind of the simple skeleton, the simple minimum viable product that we launched. 2020, we start to, learn what an everything app should look like, talk to our customer, and improve the look and feel. So this 2023, how the app is coming together, how it is improving, how it's getting more sophisticated, and more increasing in scope. So the everything app, where you want to go, what you want to eat, what you want to get, what you want to pay. It's a one-stop for every shop. It's make every ride made special, get your food on time every time, and get your quick groceries in a flash, where you want to spend and send your money in a very simple way, and other services at your fingertips, whether going to get ticketing, laundry, house cleaning, so on and so forth, and the list goes on. And we started to venture outside the app to go to the offline space. So if you want to dine out, we also have a dine out product. This is one example of where we are, and that list, inshallah, will continue. Let me pass it to Ricardo on what's behind the scenes of the everything app transformation. Ricardo.
Thank you, MC. Quickly about myself. I'm originally from Portugal, University of Porto. I joined Careem 6 years ago, and I've been working on this journey of moving from a core ride-hailing business into what exactly Dr. Charafeddine presented on the super app and everything we have in the super app. Now, just for you guys to have an idea of the scale we are today, we actually have 11 first-party services in this super app, right? To power these 11 first-party services, we actually run around 800 microservices. For the ones that are familiar with the microservice architecture, 800 microservices running on more than 1,000 nodes, processing billions of transactions per day, right? Now, we constantly develop software, we constantly update the system, right? Today, we actually have the ability to deploy every 30 minutes. I think right now we deploy more than every 30 minutes all the time, right? So you can see how hard it is to keep running at scale with the reliability that our customers expect, right? So not long time ago, and I think 2-3 years ago, this was our stack, our tech stack to power the ride-hailing business, right? So we have, at the center, we have the brain, the marketplace, right? A super intelligent system that has to match the right captain for the customer, right? With the closest ETA. Then, of course, we had a customer app and all the systems powering this customer app. We had a captain app, same, all the systems powering this captain app. And, of course, care, customer support, and all the operations on the side. Now, when we move from a typical ride-hailing business and we go to a super app platform that powers all of those 11 third-party services, the world is a bit different, right? So this is where we are today. This is what powers that scale. So we still have that brain on the center of marketplace, which is a platform component reused by ride-hailing, but also reused by our food delivery business, our grocery delivery businesses, right? And we have the ability to build all of those building blocks to power the services, or the third-party services that we provide in the super app, being food, being groceries, being pay, we also venture to pay, being bike, or even tenants that are running in our super app, right? So all of those platform components are essential so that we reuse them, right? We don't want to be rebuilding the same thing all over and over again. And all of those systems require a certain level of intelligence, right? When you look at e-commerce and our product catalog system to power the merchants and the items you see on food, the way we search for those items, right, there's a lot of intelligence behind. There's a lot of AI powering this. The same on the marketplace when we want to optimize for ETA, right, where we need to understand the traffic conditions on the road, so we actually give the best estimation how much time we need to go from one place to the other and predict how it's going to be later on. And then, of course, the super app, the platform we build, and how we personalize this experience to every one of you, right? We all have the different tastes. We all want to see something different in the super app. It should be personalized to us, right? So now I'll pass it back to Dr. MC to tell us about how we build this intelligence in the system. Thank you.
Thank you, Ricardo. So I'll give you a flavor of what it takes to build applied AI and what are the different areas where we take what we learn in machine learning and how to apply it to create a new and novel user experience. And how we do it in a way that can scalable in an efficient manner. So we divide AI into 3 big umbrellas, one on the personalization side, one on the optimization side, and one with the new advent of generative AI, how do we innovate on the generative AI side? So under those 3 big umbrellas, I spent some time on the personalization. So we are an everything app. We have the home screen. In the home screen, there are different widgets, different layout. Which one should go first and why? On the food, similarly, which one should go first and what is the ranking? And similarly for grocery. And when we think about an everything app, we have to design it in a way that is efficient. And Ricardo talked about the platform. So we have to design it in a platform way that will allow us to do dynamic layout for each service rather than reinventing the wheel multiple times. So invent the wheel once, use it multiple times. The category recommendation, these are the services, set of services. These are the set of different cuisine that you might be interested in. Those are the categories. Those are the different categories in grocery and also different categories in pay. Which one you want to highlight, when, what is the ranking of those, and the magic is being intuitive. So you have to really understand the customer. You have a lot of experimentation, how to make it intuitive. It's at the right time, the right place, it knows you, and based on that, it presents things to you. And similarly, if I go within food, if I take one category in food, let's take, I'm from Lebanon, so let's take Lebanese food. And you see all the different picks for you, the different restaurants that, we are personalized for you. And similar restaurants. So because you like this, because if you this, here's also what else you might be interested in. And if you use us and you're a power user, we also know when you are about to order food. We anticipate your need. And what we call these routines. So there's a routine, you use Careem at work for lunch around 1 p.m. When you open the app, this will show up. 6 p.m., you're going to home, you open the app, the rides will show up. And we try to minimize the clicks, to minimize friction. So machine learning is in the service of fighting friction and make a seamless user experience. We focus a lot on the experience. So it's not only building a machine learning model, but what's the experience that we designed for our customers. Similarly, on personalization, on search personalization. In search, we introduce semantic search, which is if you say, let's say this example, movie night, then with movie night, typically you need, pizza, some popcorn. And if you look at healthy, you didn't search for salad, but healthy salad will show up. So based on the meaning, we recommend, it's not a keyword search, based on the meaning, we recommend, we retrieve the items for you, and we stack rank those items. And similarly for grocery. About content, number one is like why we're doing this multi-objective cost function. What are we trying to optimize? Why? Is it clicks? Is it conversion? Are we optimizing for top line or are we optimizing for bottom line? Like, do we want to save money or we want to grow, but it's okay if to lose money as we grow? That is the who. Who do we target? What do we target? What's the content that we target? And when do we target it? How much, where, and how much if it's a discount? What is that discount? How much would that discount be? Is it a 5 dirham or is it a 10%? Which one resonate more? Which one, based on the why, will make the user convert? And how much, how often? We don't want to bombard the customer if the customer is not engaging. In the interest of time, when we think about personalization, I'll go quick here. What you could think about prompt is one form, search is one form of a prompt. So the query, search query, is one form of a prompt. And the recommendation is a pre-packaged query. So it makes sense when you design a system from an architecture point of view, you want the building block and you want your assistant team to be working very closely with the search team, to working very closely with the recommendation team. And so this is your catalog, this is your 360 understanding of the customer, of the restaurant, of the dish, of the partner, of the context, of the time, of the place. The more you enrich, the better you provide personalization, and the better you provide decision. And you have to experiment. Everything we do is via A/B testing and experimenting quickly. You're familiar, I expect with this crowd, with the large language model and the RAG, retrieval augmented generation. This is in use at Careem right now for Ask Data and about 2 products that I'll talk about later. Quickly, so we collect interactions. Those interactions go to the data platform. The data platform, we understand a lot about our customer and about the restaurant and the dish. And there's many machine learning models that are activated to provide that experience. If we are in supply stress as an environment, we don't have enough captains, then we take that into consideration. I don't recommend a restaurant that's far away, or the meal preparation time will take longer. So it is not only user aware, but also context aware. On optimization, 3 categories is on the marketplace and the ETA, estimated time of arrival. When do we expect the meal to be ready? And when do we expect the captain will come and the captain will go and deliver it to the customer? And if the customer is at the 4th floor, typically how long for that customer to show up at the 4th floor? And how we do pricing in different parts of Dubai, the willingness to pay is different. then for each dark store, the basket or the portfolio pricing optimization is also different. So the elasticity, there's an elasticity on demand, and we take that into account. And what is the basket? Typically, this neighborhood, based on their profiling, what they like, this is typically the items that we should hold. And also integrity, fraud prevention. On GenAI, this is ChatGPT. When it launched, within 5 days, it's achieved 1 million users, as compared to Instagram, 75 days, or Spotify, 150 days. The world is accelerating. Right now, it has 200 million weekly active users and 2.5 billion site visitors. So if you are now in Pakistan and you're thinking, maybe we missed the train on certain mobile or internet, or maybe classical machine learning. But Gen AI, it's everybody is the same starting line. So my recommendation here, go deep, go fast on Gen AI. Learn it, because it's just started 2 years ago, but it's moving very quickly, so jump on it. And there's a major platform shift that is happening. This will disrupt incumbent. This will be larger than mobile when the iPhone was first launched. And it will create winner. It will also redefine the user experience. So my recommendation, similar to how mobile created a lot of industry and job opportunities, you have an idea, there's a ChatGPT or GenAI could help you do it better and faster and cheaper, jump on it. Experiment, learn, fail. But this is a big winning industry shift that I recommend everybody to get deeper on. So on GenAI, there's a product experience that we're innovating on. We're innovating on how we bring efficiency to the organization. How do we revisit and redefine our care experience? How we redefine translation, how we redefine content generation, marketing generation. And then Selim will give us a deep dive of how we're applying it for productivity, engineering productivity. So this is Ask Careem, the Careem assistant. This is in development right now. Similar to the Everything app, there will be an Everything agent. And we do one vertical at a time. So we're starting with the dine out agent, then we go to the food agent, so on and so forth. Then it becomes, when you talk to Ask Careem, the Careem gets more details for that experience, what are the intricacies that I need to provide to the customer. And we're doing this for our customer. We could also extend this to our partner, to our restaurants, and the agent AI ecosystem. Siri Intelligence could talk to Ask Careem. Booking.com could talk to Ask Careem. Airbnb could talk to Ask Careem, so on and so forth. And each agent needs skills. So when you say, give me the restaurants that are on dine out and they have discount, ChatGPT cannot give you that. But we know this is internal. These are our restaurant that we have partnership with and we have discount partnership with, and we know where they are. So when you say within 20 minutes from me, I know the ETA, and I know we put FAQ, what's more about the restaurant, and we could do reservation. And in order to build this, as you see, as a recurring theme, we have to build a platform. You don't have to rebuild everything for another service. So you do it once, you build the platform, and allows you to move fast. I'll not spend a lot of time on this, but we have a large language model framework. We have an AI development lifecycle, and we have a rich ecosystem where we could plug and play different LLMs and different components, different vector search, different components to build that experience. And in the innovation here, this is a dine-out experience. Rather than searching or browsing, there's a new third paradigm to the interaction. There is conversation. Because it has memory, you converse with the Ask Careem, and in 2 weeks in GITEX, we're launching our first dine-out product, Ask Careem for dine-out, and we're bringing conversation to dine-out. So stay tuned. You should see this after mid-October. And it doesn't stop here. A lot of the content, majority of the content, marketing content that you see here is AI generated. So you don't need to hire a designer, maybe you don't need a big team, you need a small team, but with a Swiss Army knife of how they use GenAI. And on GenAI for productivity, for engineering, I'll pass it to Selim. Thank you.
Thank you, Mohamad. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. How is everyone doing? Good, good so far. How many students we have in the room? Okay, majority of them. Okay, so then I can go deep technically then. Okay. So Mohamad, thank you so much for covering the GenAI piece on product experiences, on efficiency. However, GenAI is really a breakthrough, and it's impacting all of us, in our jobs, being a doctor, being a diplomat, being a speech teller, being marketing, and being an engineer, as you guys, majority of the room is aspiring for. So in engineering, this breakthrough is helping a lot in many ways, right? So first of all, what we are observing through the experiment that I will introduce you in a minute is that we are gaining a lot of efficiencies. The LLM, the machine, is very good at detecting the repetitive tasks and increasing efficiency. So it will decrease the mind share from the engineer and do that repetitive task in a good way, in a fast way. The second thing is, if an engineer is avoiding giving those repetitive tasks to the machine, he will be more productive in other things, right? So you can understand that there is a cost efficiency here, where the engineer will focus more on investment, on complicated topics, and it will help the organization to gain cost. And then the third one is about accuracy, right? So as a human being, even when we have repetitive tasks, there is always a margin of error. We are not perfect, far from being perfect, right? But the machine is agnostic, so every repetitive task is done with precision. And then the last one is about about UI, about creative. I think Mohamad touched upon it. We are doing a lot of experiments at Careem on how we are generating those designs, and there is a lot of creativity, mind-blowing creativity, that sometimes I even test myself. Never thought about this, right? So very, very promising. And at the moment in the industry, we talk about two big tools, right, for engineers. One is ChatGPT. I think everyone is familiar. There are other, kind of competitors emerging, Claude.ai, Perplexity for other needs, but still ChatGPT, as Mohamad showed, the growth, it's dominant. And then the second platform that is dedicated for engineers is GitHub Copilot. How many of you are familiar with GitHub Copilot? Okay, so the room is aware. Nice, fantastic to see this. So today we're going to focus on GitHub, and the way it is helping engineers to improve their productivity. So we have been using Copilot since now around 1 year more or less, and we have been doing a lot of use cases. And I would like to walk you through those use cases so it gives you exposure. And you are all graduating, or you are now close to graduation, and the minute you're going to join a startup in Pakistan or an organization in Pakistan or beyond, you're going to propose some of those use cases, hopefully. So it will be very, very helpful for you and for the organization that you're going to join. So 5 use cases. One is how Copilot is improving the test cases. The other one is how to improve the engineer on completing code by suggesting things. The third one is about generating code from comments when we do pair programming with other folks, with other colleagues and peers, and then using the machine to be your manager, your mentor, technically, and reviewing the PRs, reviewing how you do code cleaning and all those nice principles that will be very helpful to build code at scale. And then the last one is, if at Careem we have a lot of, how can I say, it's very dynamic, right? So today I'm an engineer, I work on something, and then in 6 months I'm gonna work on something else. So I'm gonna inherit code. but then it's very, very complicated for me to understand all the, the details of the code. So then the machine is helping me. So very, very quickly, because we are short on time. So this is an example, and this is, from the Copilot websites, a way to, write unit test cases with suggesting even the naming conventions on the test functions. The second one is about auto-completion of code. It can even suggest you only one-liner or even blocks, to go faster. The third one is, if I am putting some comments and then I'm doing peer review, the machine will understand English and then will propose code from those comments, which is fantastic, mind-blowing. And then being a mentor, right? So at Careem we have, this program of new college grads, and we have been doing, an experiment with them, and we received very, very good positive feedback on this. So, they don't need their manager, or the technical mentor for, 50 days, but they will need them for less because the machine is covering for most of it. And then lastly, it's about, explainability of the code. We have at Careem very, very complex code. Sometimes we build code from 11 years ago. Can you imagine how many people worked on that code? And then in, single clicks, the machine or the Copilot will give you a summary of the meaning of this code, so you are up to speed. You will be able to ask the right questions, to get the knowledge. So, as I said, we have been working on, experimenting this nice experience for 1 year. We have around 70% of adoption from all our engineers, around 400 engineers, more or less. And then we have been advocating for this. And all of you are engineers. You don't trust easily, right? So we have finding ways to have, peer collaboration, distinguished engineers that coming to showcase all the use cases, all the advantages. And as we know, right, every technology, there is a lot of complexity at the beginning for adoption. It's very slow. So we are trying many, many, ways to increase adoption even to more, targeting 90%. And you might wonder, we have a lot of, languages at Careem, Go, Java, etc., etc. And every a language has different usage of Copilot, and different people, different needs. And this is, just to show you the breakdown of the adoption per language. And then most importantly, how accurate is Copilot. And we can see now that Copilot, if it suggests me a line of code, it has 25% probability to be accurate. So we are still far. We are still missing 70% of precision here. And this is very, very motivating, because we know we have fantastic feedback from the cohort of engineers, and it will help us as well to even work closely with Copilot, because now they are proposing a way to train the data of Careem on Copilot, so it might suggest with more precision the lines of code. So as Mohamad was saying, this domain of GenAI is full of promises. And if, one learning or one kind of summary from you guys is you need to deep dive on this and embrace it, right? Through Copilot, through ChatGPT, whatever, through, other LLMs, but you have to embrace it. It's mandatory. Otherwise, everyone will be outdated here. And this is, just a small graph to show you the growth, how we are increasing our pull requests using Copilot. So you can see that there is a very positive trend overall. And if you as well analyze this on job families, at Careem we have a lot of job families, mobile, backend, full stack, etc. You can see that the blue line, which is without Copilot, has been always inferior. So definitely we are generating more pull requests thanks to the usage of Copilot across all job families that you can see here. And lastly, we cannot run an experiment without asking the stakeholders, asking the users. So at Careem, we have always this way to practice to always, launch surveys, get the pulse, and iterate and fix. And we have fantastic, satisfaction from all the engineers, 88% of satisfaction by usage of Copilot. And we are very, very proud that we are running the largest experiment in the region using GenAI for engineers. Thank you very much. Do we have some time for Q&A?
Yeah, we will definitely. Thank you so much, Selim, for such a enlightening talk. We'll open the floor for Q&A, and after listening to this talk, I know sky is the limit. We will. This is era of AI. So I would request all the audience, especially the students, to raise their hands so that we can moderate it, and then we will come back to you if you have any questions.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
I have a question about
Which university are you from?
sorry. I'm from Sir Syed CASE University.
Please.
Yeah, my name is Abdul Rahman. I am from Sir Syed CASE University. I'm a student of Bachelor's of Artificial Intelligence, and I'm from 7th semester. So the question was about the data set. You are using data set for a screen. You train it on any model, whatever you do. I was thinking that what kind of data set you have that you are using to train your models for that screen.
Yes, great question. Thank you, Abdurrahman. On the Dynout already product is already live, so it's already there. And we also have a search bar. So the search bar is, as I mentioned, the query is also one form of prompt. So the search bar, that information, we also use it in validating whether the what we're building on retrieval, on the RAG, retrieval augmented generation, and the ranking. So once you retrieve, you have to rank. You have to figure out which one, ranks higher. And we also have expert. So we have people within the team, and we have people who are alpha or power user, power customer. And then we show them, we send a list within the organization, give us sample prompt. How would you plan to use that product? So we have about 200 prompts. We enrich those 200 prompts with ChatGPT, that based on those 200 prompts, what is our similar 200 prompts? And we run those through the system end to end. And we have a set of evaluator that I like that, I didn't like that. I like that, there was a good question, there was a bad question. And there's a tool in LangChain called Argila. And this is the tool where we use the human in the loop to teach that this is a good answer and this is a bad answer. Now when we go to food, we also have a tons of information on the food search queries, and we'll do something similar. So we'll use that information to bootstrap how we learn that these are the typical, based on this search query or similar prompt from that search query, what is a typical ranking of the restaurant that the customer has engaged with. And then we'll also again open it up internally and to alpha customers, power customers, to give us a feedback. And that's how we train. So you need the human in the loop at the beginning to train. And then what we do when we launch this, we have a rating. Did you like the answer? You did not like the answer, and tell us why. So we need that feedback loop to always be that as part of the product.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Great question.
Any other question, please?
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Abdul Wase. I was a student here at DIP, third quarter. What I would like to know is your opinion. If you were to go back in time and advise your own engineers on the architecture and how to think about the application where you're going, what are the problems that you'd like to avoid? And what are the things that you inform your engineers about?
That's a good question. Yeah, can you guys hear me? If I have to go back in time, Look, there's a lot. That's a lot that you learn when you start building these systems at scale, right? And there's a lot of things you learn when you're in college, but there's a lot of things that they don't teach you, right? One thing that comes to my mind is always around quality of what we build, right? The basic thing of how to test our software, right? So this is always there. This is going to be always there. And in this world of AI, right, this is going to be even more important because we go to a next level of detail, where each and every one of us are going to have a different experience, right? You're going to have a personalization. So how do we test this? So testing is still going to be there. Then, of course, I will really start embracing becoming an expert in data science and AI, right? Start from the basics, statistics, right? I think it's super important, right? And then go up to the top to GenAI, LLMs, and so on and so forth. I think that's probably it. I don't know if you guys have any.
Yeah, I would like to add, on data side, the concept of what we call governance. Who can create definition of a metric? So as we mentioned, we are an everything app. There's multiple different services, different teams working together. If you don't have a clarity and a governance on when we say a new user conversion or an existing user, what is existing user? 30 days, 28 days? When you say ordered, how many orders got delivered? What if they were canceled? Do you still count them? You don't count them? The next level of details, they have to be there. Otherwise, you spend a lot of time in the caveats and people start making wrong decisions. So strong governance on the data, clean events on the clicks, and clean tables, table design, how you store the data modeling piece, because you need to be able to query that data. And you as a student, you're typically working from scratch. It's a green field, software engineering. It's not a brown field where there's already existing code and legacy of code and 800 services, and there's 12 years of history. So you need to ensure the more clear you are on the interfaces and you design things right, the faster you go. This is why sometimes startups could innovate faster than big companies because of the legacy. It carries a drag, it carries attacks on the organization. So you have to design the interfaces right, you have to design the definitions right, need to have governance. If you open it up, it would be chaotic and you're not able to move fast.
Thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Zuriyaz Ahmed and I am a 7th semester student at CASE. Okay, my question was, you guys said that you guys are the biggest company in this region which is experimenting with the generative AI in the field. So I wanted to ask if you guys were willing to share your data with other users or startups so that they could learn from it. Thank you.
Great question.
Great question. Thank you so much. Actually, we are already doing it. So we have in our strategy to, democratize GenAI, AI, tech at Careem. We are a very purposeful company, right? So we do things for profit, but we do many things for beyond that. And we believe that, we are striving to be this tech institution from the region that will stay for 100 years. And you cannot stay 100 years if you don't give back. You can take, but you have to give back even more than you take. So we have a lot of collaborations in Pakistan with academia. So through a controlled process, through contracts and compliance, we have this applied research kind of processes and collaborations. You can go online. You will see that we co-published the research with LAMS, where we shared the anonymized data from the region, and then we co-built together a machine learning model to predict supply and demand for the ride hailing. We are doing the same with other companies, with other academia, NUST, you name it, not only in Pakistan but as well in the region. So we are doing this in Egypt, we are trying to do this in Jordan. So happy to chat after if you would like to have more details. And then we are trying to show this now in our tech blog soon. So you will be able to see yourself, what kind of research we are doing, what kind of data, and then what kind of collaboration we can do with CASE or DIP or other institutions that are helping you guys to grow. Thank you.
Yeah, if I may add, you don't also have to wait for Careem. There's tons of data sets available out there. Right? Go to Kaggle, right? So just learning on Kaggle, go to Hugging Face. Right? So you don't just have to wait for Careem, right? You could unblock yourself. The internet is wide. There's a lot of excellent information there.
And you can ask ChatGPT as well.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Moinuddin and I'm a graduate of DIP. My question was we have seen OpenAI, Anthropic and Gemini going for synthetic data to train their next generation LLMs. How does Careem see that? You already have a lot of data from users. So are you also going to go that path or just going to use the data that you already have? Thank you.
So as I mentioned, as we train the Ask Careem for Dine Out, we ask our internal colleagues and some of the alpha customers about, okay, what would you like to ask it? And then we enrich that with synthetic prompt. And so those, we already used it in the kind of how we developed the Dine Out Ask Careem product. But in general, how we look at data, we believe data is an asset to the organization. So this is why when we share, it's an anonymized data, it's a small sample. And what will differentiate organizations in the future is who have rich data, that is meaningful data, and that data is used to create a better user experience. So for example, if you're asking ChatGPT or if you're asking Careem of what you like to eat now, what you're in the mood for, guess who can present you a better information? Right? Because we have that information about you, we know what you like, what you don't like, we know the interaction. So that is strategic. Data is strategic to the company. As the LLM, as they grow and they enter a commodity stage, similar to how recommendation, collaborative filtering entered a commodity stage, what will happen is that the differentiation are two things: the data and the design of the experience.
And if I may add, so we have as well some other, GenAI experiments in the organization where we don't have enough data. Internal tooling, for instance, we are trying to build internal tooling using GenAI, and simulated data is about having the sample representative, right, and the sample significant. So we went through the route of generating data, synthetic data as well. So it depends. It needs to be very flexible. It depends on your experiment. It depends on what you are trying to achieve. But we went through that route as well for certain cases, and it was not very successful, but we tried it.
It's use case specific, so it depends on the use case.
Okay.
Next, please.
Just one last thing on the data. We are of course not saying that we're never not gonna open up our data, right? I think there's a lot of data that we have that is super important for the business, and the competition is fierce, right? So of course we don't want to open up that. There's a lot of data that is super valuable to the community, right? And one of the values we have is to give back, right? To improve the lives of people in the region. So of course, at some point there's going to be data that we're going to open up for other use cases and for other companies to use as well.
I'll give you an example of how that data is useful. So we have captain pings. We have captains on the road, and they're using a motorcycle. It's a two-wheeler. And if you look at Google Maps, it gives you a sedan ETA to go from place A to place B. It's a car, four-wheelers. But with our captain pings, we know better than Google Maps of how long will it take for a motorcycle to go from point A to point B. Now that information is also useful for other companies, ecosystem, And there could be a potential where we could, open up that data or that that SaaS, that service. So we could open up this service in the future. Alaikum salam. Can you stand up? Yep.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Ahmed Raza and I am from Washington, Islamabad. I have a question regarding your AI-based research feature. Is the length of the prompt is limited? The first one is, and the second one is that what if I have asked about the two situations regarding that I have talked about that it's the morning and I am going to watch a movie. Then how your system will tackle this? Thank you.
Can you just understand your question? So 2 parts. Why is the prompt size limited?
Is the prompt size limited or it's open at the other end?
So right now it's configurable.
Okay.
We could play with it, but right now it's configurable. It's not an issue.
Okay.
The second question.
Is second that I am in the same prompt. I'm talking about two situations, like it's the morning and I'm going to watch the movie. So what the system will recommend me?
So the system has memory.
Okay.
So based on the previous interaction, there's memory, and it might know that you like action movies, right? So that's a memory, and it should also, if it doesn't have enough information, it should probe. So it's not always, hey, it's like a search, I have to give an answer. Similar to an interview, a lot of you are doing the interview process. If somebody gives you a question, you don't jump on the board and then go deep. Right? You step back, you answer, you try to clarify which area. So the conversation is that, okay, what type of movie?
It's conversational based.
Right? Yeah, what type of movie? When do you want to watch it? Where? Right? Here's they are. Help me. Last time you didn't like this. Do you want the same, or should I recommend something else? You're going by yourself. Do you have a car? And what we observe in the skills, the next in the agent, the conversation skills are what we need to develop. So there's different trajectories of the conversation. Different trajectories. So we need a conversation studio with that for each service. I know where I want to take the customer. I know where I need to land the customer. So if in care, the customer is really, pissed off, angry, okay, this is how the trajectory of the flow.
It's when you are tackling the emotions as well.
Yes, 100%. 100%. Now, right now, what we're opening up is only text-based. But in the future, ChatGPT 4.0 is already Omni, is multimodal. So it takes the voice and the emotion into account.
And the backend you are building your own modular, you are building a pre-built-in model like from a case or anything.
Right now, we're using OpenAI, but we have the ability, and we tested with Llama. Given that, as I mentioned, the GenAI platform is flexible. So it allows us to change different LLMs. The new LLM, Strawberry GPT-O, is out. We tested with that. So you have to design things in a way that allows you to react quickly, and you don't, anchor yourself in one area that becomes a tax on you to move quickly. Thank you.
Can you pass the mic to the next one? Over here.
Assalamu
Alaikum.
I'm Abdul and I'm the student of FAST. I'm the student of FAST and from the AI program. I have two questions. First one is a question, and the second one is sort of a suggestion.
Sure.
So coming towards the question, it's that Careem is working as a car application where it is providing cab services. But considering the usage and the competition of the other applications, the Careem sales have been declining these days. So considering the point of artificial intelligence, you have told about all the different generative AI tools you are using to improve your services, but how you have used AI to tackle how will Careem will dominate that competition in future? And the second suggestion is that Dr. Mohamad just said that you have to work with generative AI in order to be competent in future. So what would be the roadmap that you would suggest? Because you're in market and you're our seniors, so that would be the best roadmap that you would give. Thank you.
My answer will be, I think there's different dimensions to that question. One dimension is product, one dimension is economics, business, one dimension is infra. Maybe there's more. But on the product side, we have conviction that our value proposition in the market is an everything app, not a single service app. So we have a strong conviction on that, and we see it in Dubai. So in Dubai, that flywheel as an everything app, as a value proposition, is working extremely well. And therefore, when we come back to Pakistan, we have to come back with that value proposition. And given that you have limited resources, sometimes you have to make some hard decisions and you have to prioritize. And we prioritize the value proposition of an everything app in markets where there is a high willingness to pay and the average trip fare or order value is high. That will allow us to continue sustainably and allow us to build the cash and the investment needed as we go and expand in other cities in the region. So that's kind of the business side. And it's okay if sometimes we know that we retract from a certain market or we reduce the investment in a certain market in favor of other work. And we're okay with that opportunity cost because we're conscious about it. But it doesn't mean, our mission is still simplify and improve the lives of people in the region. And we want to be the essential part of life in the region. We want to elevate the lifestyle and the quality of life in the region and create economic opportunity. But in order to do that sustainably, we have to make some hard choices. And there are other areas maybe Ricardo would like to cover on the infrastructure side. So we need to be, in order to offer a very cheap service in markets like Pakistan or Egypt, our cost structure has to be super efficient and our infrastructure have to be super efficient.
Yeah, so I think as Dr. Mohamad said, our purpose is to improve the lives of people in the region, right? And of course, we are now focused in Dubai, right? We want to first solve for a single market, right? This concept of multiple services in a single market. We want to do it properly there, start growing sustainably, and then we're going to really live our purpose, which is to expand to the markets where actually we should be improving the lives of people, right? And that's Pakistan, that's Egypt, that's Jordan, that's Lebanon, right? For us to do that, we need to do it in a sustainable way, right? Today, for example, when talking about infrastructure, our infrastructure costs, because we grew very fast, because we grew with a core ride-hailing business and we wanted to move fast and not sustainably, it's a big cost. We need to bring down this cost per transaction massively so that we can provide the service to everyone in Pakistan, right? So that's what's in our strategy, the long-term strategy, for sure.
I think we'll take maybe one or two more questions before we close. On the last.
My name is Mustafa. I'm a graduate, graduated quite a long time ago. So my question is, you were talking about dining out with Careem, right? So the idea is that I open the app and I say, I want, what are the best places in 10 minutes away from me, right? So as a consumer, my question is, of course, when you're doing that, as a company, you would be, there's a lot of incentive to say, how about like KFC pays me a little bit more money and it appears right on top, right? As a consumer, what are you doing to sort of, when I have doubts that, it's just whoever's going to be paying the most is going to be on top, right? So what are you doing in terms of consumer protection so that you're not just seeing, and of course, when there's small startups, or like there might be a really good bakery just down the road, right? But they can't afford to get their name on the top, right? So is it like hurting small businesses, and is it just promoting big businesses? And how would you ease consumer concerns?
Great question. Mustafa, right? Yeah, thank you.
Good question.
In asking for dine out, there's no ads. That's all relevance. In food, there is ads. So when you search on Google, how do you know which one is an ad or not? It tells you, right? So there's a transparency, and in the customer experience, there is something called ad. There is an indicator that this is an ad. So we do very similarly of how the ad industry has evolved, and from a transparency point of view, and we showcase that this is an ad, this is not an ad. In the LLM, we don't have ads on the LLM side as of now. But when we introduce, let's say this is a sponsored recommendation, you might say, hey, I don't like this, show me a small mom and pop shop next to me. So that's a question. And the relevance will be higher for that question, for that prompt. So number one is transparency, which we do when we have ads on food. And number two is, if you're not transparent with the customer, you lose the trust with the customer. And we want to win the customer on the long term. We don't want to win the customer on the very short term. So it's aligned with the incentive of Careem and the customer that we provide you what you want. And if there's an ad, we tell you exactly that this is an ad.
Thank you. I think we need to close here if there are no further questions.
There's one.
There's one? We'll
Three.
take only one then.
There's a lot.
All right.
You have the pressure now. The last question has to be good.
Assalamualaikum. Nadim from Sir Syed CASE. You say you are using your user data to train your models. You say that, but with that comes a privacy concern. Like Facebook and Google, they are facing lawsuits and these things. How are you different from them? They are also using user data and they are facing lawsuits. How are you different from them?
So let's say just the concept of user data, right? Data and data use is such a large spectrum. You watch Netflix, right? Or you have something. What do you watch? Like, if we don't use your data of what you like and you don't like, how do we personalize the service? Right? So we use it to personalize the service, but we are privacy aware in that. So, for example, he mentioned working with academia. That data is anonymized data. So privacy preservation is very important. So we take privacy seriously at Careem, and there's access to that data, and the data is serving the customer experience. So in the ads, if we go back to the ads question, the ads, the customer or the partner as will tell us, hey, I have a Lebanese restaurant. Would like to offer, please boost, if people are searching for Lebanese restaurant, please have me on top. Okay, and it's an ad. Okay, who do we target? We segment the customer. The customer that have affinity that they like Lebanese restaurant, we show them that. But we don't say, I forgot your name, that hey, go target this person, this is all his information. No, they tell us what they want, and we use that information to better target based on what matters to the customer. Your customer, hey, you like, let's say, Japanese cuisine. Why should I show you this? Right, so we use it in the service of the customer experience. Not sure if I answered your question.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Do you want to close?
Yeah.
Thank you.
So thank you so much. Very enlightening session. And before we actually go for the formal closure, I wanted to request the DIP students if they can just stand up here. We do have DIP students here with us, right? The Data Institute Park. Thank you so much. So I know we have a hall full of students from FAST, from CASE, from Air University, and from Bahria University. So I want you to see and mingle up and meet these students who were part of the DIP very rigorous course, and as I said earlier, that our major role was just to link them up with the industry and polish them a bit so that they are industry ready. I'm very glad to share that our students who have just graduated, following this event, we are also running a small event for their graduation. 87% of them have already started working with the international companies while they are sitting and working here in Pakistan. So I just want to give you an opportunity that once we disperse, you should be able to meet them and see what difference DIP has made in their professional career. Thank you so much. So you can have a seat and do share your experiences with our distinguished colleagues and students. I also wanted to acknowledge presence of our very special guest, Babar Shaikh Sahab, who is here, and he is Babar Shaikh Sahab. He is the Vice President of Data Institute Pakistan, Pakistan, and also a distinguished leader at Careem. I asked him to share a few words, but I think he excused himself. But we still want to hear from him a few, if he can. Share a couple of comments with us.
Thank you, everybody. I was not expecting to speak today, but I feel like I have to. Can everybody hear me now? Yes. Okay, sorry about that. I wasn't planning on speaking today, but given the questions from the students, I was actually taken back by the caliber, the quality of those questions. When we were bringing, I believe Professor Javad, Professor Abid, Professor Shariar, when we were talking about bringing deep AI tech talks to Pakistan, we were a little unsure. I'll be honest with you. We were a little unsure that would these advanced topics resonate. And our guest here today just did the same talk that was sponsored by the Ministry of AI in UAE. And the talk was received really well by the audience. And this includes top universities, including MBZ, University of AI. But I tell you that the questions I heard here today were actually higher caliber than I've heard anywhere else. This gives me tremendous hope on the young talent in Pakistan. The energy you guys bring, the excitement you bring, I think this will be first of many talks that we do, and inshallah we'll continue to bring international talent to Pakistan and have these exchanges. Again, my gratitude. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for the guests. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Babar Sahab. It's always great to have you with us. I thank all my distinguished speakers for sharing their thoughts and very enlightening presentations.